Gauthier is the network coordinator of the British Columbia Personal Supports Network, which is currently operating its first project, the Equipment and Assistive Technology Initiative. He has been involved in many initiatives to improve the lives of people with disabilities, uniting a variety of organizations and providing individuals with the supports they need to fully participate in society. In the past, Paul has worked with individuals, groups, and the government to create successful and innovative programs, including an individualized funding program for home support that allows individuals to have more control and flexibility. The new equipment funding project is equally innovative, allowing people to access what they need to achieve their goals. Paul is also a 4-time Paralympian, an athlete in the sport of bocce. At the 2004 Paralympic Games in Athens, he won the gold medal in individual competition and bronze with his teammate in pairs. Welcome to Paul Gauthier.
Great. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Councillor, for having me here today. And just want to acknowledge Elaine Willis, who's here, has been a long friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, and I'm so happy to be here tonight. I'm also really excited to talk to you today about the new BC Personal Supports Network. But before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about my situation. I'm somebody that has grown up in the system. I grew up in a foster home, then moved into a group home setting, and then I had to learn the system in regards to being able to live independently on my own. And for me, when I was moving out of the group home, I knew other people with disabilities that were living on their own. So in my mind, I thought it was going to be a piece of cake. I would just end up getting my own apartment and all the supports would be there for me. And I actually think that's what a lot of people in this province thinks for people with disabilities. And unfortunately, that is not the case. The situation in this province is that there's a lot of information that you need to know. And I think that the work that I've been doing and the experience that I've gathered over the last 20 years or 40 years of my life is something that today I'm able to be able to share with others. Without personal supports, I wouldn't be here today in front of you doing this talk. I need a vehicle that is fully accessible, that has a ramp, that has a lowered floor. For me to be able to do my work, I need a computer with voice recognition. For me to be able to get outside my home, I need a door opener to be able to help me get out. For me to be able to get around, I need an electric wheelchair. Again, personal supports is something that I need to be able to fully participate. Yes, I was able to represent Canada. I've been representing Canada for the last 2 decades. With my big competition in 2004 with a gold medal and a bronze medal. Again, I'm talking about this because if it wasn't for personal supports, I wouldn't have been able to represent Canada. I wouldn't have been on the big stage, and I wouldn't have been able to succeed. Today, because of my personal supports and being able to participate, I met my amazing wife, Sarah, playing bocce. Sarah and I have been married since 2008. And today, Sarah and I have a 10-month-old baby named Mateo. I grew up in the foster home, as I talked about. And it's interesting because today, I'm a foster parent. I'm a foster parent of a 17-year-old foster son who is an amazing boy that has some special needs of his own. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about the fact that we invested in someone like me. And people would say that I have cost the system a lot of money because I've been in it all of my life. But at the end of the day, if we invest in people with disabilities, they are able to give back. And you know what? They don't just give back 100%. They give back 10,000%. It's a fact. I'm going to show you a little bocce video because I have to show you my bocce ball. So do you mind just showing the Paul intro? And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about the BC Personal Supports Network and talk about this amazing funding that's available for people with disabilities. Thank you, Karen.
sports are making their way in. Canada, including the 143-strong contingent from Canada led by Donovan Tilsley. Canada is loaded with talent.
You know, Canada's got a great legacy in Paralympic sport. They first took part in the Games in 1968 in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Singular and proud moment for all of these athletes. Not disabled, but empowered.
We train 5 to 6 days a week, anywhere from 4 to 5 hours a day. This is on the court, but this doesn't include the 2 times a week at the gym. Everything is just working well for me, you know. I mean, have an amazing woman by my side. You know, how great can I say this experience is going to be?
I still have chills when I watch that. You know, in Beijing, it was actually on TV all day long, and it was the highest rating television program on at the time, amongst all the other sports and stuff too. So it was pretty cool. You know, one of the things that I think people don't realize is that there's over 500 organizations in this province that do something for people with disabilities. There are over 80 government programs that are available for people to access funding for different supports. What a maze that is. You know, I'm somebody who's been working with the system for, as I said, 20 to 40 years. I still don't understand how it all works. How do we expect a lot of people that have just become disabled to be able to really have access to all that information? What the BC Personal Supports Network is hoping to do is bring as many of those 500 organizations together where we all start to work on the areas of personal supports. And if we could have people focus in on personal supports, things like home support, sign language interpretation, housing, etc., you know, how much power that would be in regards to information. We are looking to use the participation model for personal supports. And a participation model is a person-directed functional approach for personal supports. It really creates self-determination and choice. The first project of the BC Personal Supports Network is EATI, Equipment and Assistive Technology Initiative. What's exciting about this new funding is that this is the first time that we've actually had where it's a true community partnership between the community and government. And what we're doing is we're actually operating this program together through the Ministry of Social Development. This funding is for assistive technology to help people be able to fully participate in society and to be able to access the labor market. It's $4 million a year for 5 years. We're in our second year. So this is until 2014. And why I'm so excited about this is that, first of all, this is new money to this province, $4 million. And there's a huge unmet need for assistive technology in this province. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the eligibility. I'm going to just kind of talk about the highlighted spots. And one is someone self-identifies as a person with a disability. For people with disabilities, this is huge. We don't have to go to the doctor and get another doctor's letter that says that I have cerebral palsy. I had cerebral palsy when I was 3 weeks old. I still have cerebral palsy today. But it's incredible how many times I've had to go to the doctor to get a letter to prove that I have cerebral palsy. I could be applying to the same fund, and I still need to prove that I have cerebral palsy. So self-identifying, this is huge for people with disabilities. There's no doctor's referral into the program. You self-refer. There's no income testing, so we don't ask for your personal financial information. You have to be 18 years and older, and you have to be a resident of this province. You have to be unemployed or employed with low skills. And when I talk about employed with low skills, I'm talking about English as a second language, maybe not a completion of your grade 12. EATI is for anyone who wants to work, even if they don't feel they're ready to do so right away. So we're talking about pre-employment. This is the first time we've had a fund that was available to have access to assistive technology for people to be able to get that leg up, to start looking at that possibility of employment. You have to be ineligible for employment insurance, and you have to not be able to access funding from other sources. So if there is another government program out there that will be able to pay for your wheelchair, we expect that you would go through that program first. We have super navigators. Super navigators are people that really are super, let me tell you. They navigate people through the process. And they are ones that are there to be able to help the person be able to see if there is other funding out there for you. They don't expect you to do all the running around. They actually will take some of the steps for you. At the same time, it is the participation model. And we are looking at people with disabilities to take responsibility for what their needs are and to be able to do the research that's necessary to be sure that they're getting exactly what they need. So when we're talking about this is really, really consumer driven. And we're looking at people with disabilities to not have to be just the person that receives the service. They can control the service. That is so exciting about this program, that we are the ones that are starting to think about, what are my goals, you know? And maybe we're working with someone to try and figure out what those goals are. But can you imagine being part of a program that doesn't talk about what you can't do, but start talking about what you can do and what you want to and what your dream and aspirations are? That's what we got with the BC Personal Supports Network, the EATI program. Older citizens also are eligible for this fund. So we understand that people that are 65, 70 that have chosen and need to go back to work for many reasons, but they need hearing aids, they need scooters to get around. These are things that they can get through EATI. I'm going to talk about some of the equipment, but again, what's neat about this program is that we do not have a specific list. There is no list for EATI. Anything is game when it comes to assistive technology, as long as that piece of technology is going to help you overcome a functional barrier that's going to help you get towards your end goal. And yes, your end goal needs to be an employment goal, but again, this employment goal could be 2 or 3 years down the road. The kinds of equipment that we've been able to pay for are things like hearing aids, screen reading software, door openers, van conversions, and van conversions including the hand controls and the drop floor. For those that are able to drive, we've been able to provide some of the training for that assistive technology. We found one of the major things is that the abandonment rate of equipment and devices have been very high. And the reason for that is that somebody will get a piece of equipment and don't necessarily get the necessary training to actually be able to use that piece of equipment. So it ends up sitting in a box somewhere. In actual fact, the training has really shown that people are actually utilizing the equipment that they end up getting. We're able to pay for GPS systems for people that are blind. And I'm going to show you a video in a moment about a GPS device that has helped someone be able to actually get employment having a developmental disability. It's very exciting. I want to show you that video. But things like an iPad, iPhones and things, equipment that someone normally wouldn't consider to be assistive technology is amazing assistive technology for people with disabilities. You know, we've gone from communication devices that are huge and bulky that sit on the front of your chair that can cost up to $7,000 to having applications on something like an iPad is only an example. There's other kinds out there as well. But it's flat. It really looks good on the wheelchair. It's cool. People have it, right? But it is a communication device, and it's incredible what that piece of equipment can do. We've been able to pay for lifts in the home. We've been able to help people get track lifts in their home, because if they can't get out of their bed, how are they going to be able to get to their potential employment? We're able to pay for repairs of equipment. So if somebody already has a piece of equipment and it needs to be repaired, as long as that piece of equipment is the equipment that's going to help them move them along the process, we can repair that equipment. We can do custom work, such as this tray that I have on my chair. You know, it's not something that's on the market, so I was able to go somewhere to get it made up. That's something that we can do as well. There's no limit at this time in regards to how much a piece of equipment will cost. There's no limit in regards to how many times you can apply. The reality is that people with disabilities start on a journey. They end up getting a piece of equipment. It opens up the possibilities, and all of a sudden their goals are changing. Well, because their goals are changing, because they're realizing they can do a lot more now that they have the piece of equipment. I'd like to show you this video that I have, and then when I come back, there's more information, of course, in regards to eligibility and stuff. You can get it on our website and stuff, but I'll show this video, and then I'd love to open it up to some questions.